Howdy folks, it's me, Bob N, and welcome back to... the railway. I say railway in huge inverted commas because currently there is no railway, or much of anything else really, just a baseboard. But that changes today. As I record this, it's Model Rail Scotland next week, and of course I'll be buying something either useful, silly, or both. And so I'll need somewhere to play with, test it. To do that we need track, so by the end of this video, track will be put down. Last episode we cleared the baseboard and cut a hole in it, and today we have a few more jobs, so let's have a look at our to-do list. 1. Install inclines on the baseboard and get an interesting amount of height variation as per the plan. 2. Somehow bridge the yawning chasm that we cut last episode. 3. Get some track round the entire thing and run a train round it. How hard can it be, right? Well, with our list in place, let's get started with... Most trains famously can't go up hills, so railways are built as flat as possible. The first intercity railway, Manchester to Liverpool line, is nicknamed Brunel's billiard table for how flat it is. However, there is still a need for inclines on the line. The steepest incline in Britain is the Lickey incline near Birmingham, with a gradient of 2.65% over 2 miles. Luckily, with model railways you can get away with a bit more, and the one we're putting in today is 4%. 4% gives us a nice angle to get the bridge up to a decent looking height, and also slopes the layout before us, giving us a nice perspective over everything. There's probably a really fancy term for all of this, but I can't think of it at the moment. To get the nice constant angle we're after, we're using this starter set from Woodland Scenics. This contains 4 2-foot long wedges of foam that can be bent around to create a smooth curve and incline. The only issue is the curve is 4 feet total. Luckily, Woodland Scenics also make these risers at a constant 1-inch height, so we can easily get a nice smooth incline and decline. This is also part of why I put the track plan in the last episode. It shows us exactly where to put the risers to make space for both tracks. We're going to lay it along the line starting at the edge of the station so we can get a good amount of height by the time we get to the back straight and the bridge. To secure all of this, I'm using wood glue, which is just regular PVA, and weighing it down with some old copies of Railway Modeller. You can try using new copies or even different magazines, but your results may vary. In order to future-proof the layout and get it ready for ballast, I'm going to add a layer of cork underlay. This will serve to deaden the noise from the track and give a solid surface for the ballast to rest on. As I mentioned earlier, trains are notoriously bad at inclines, so bridges crop up an awful lot in their construction. They're hugely important pieces of railway infrastructure. Even more important on my railway is I've only gone and named the entire layout after them. For this reason, it's going to have to be a pretty spectacular bridge. Don't worry, as I have a plan for it to be. I can't say too much right now, but a bridge isn't something we need to worry about. In the meantime, however, we're going to have to make our own bridge. We're starting with a sheet of balsa wood. This is light and stronger than plasticard, so will do well for the temporary deck. Marking it out to the correct dimensions with a spare riser and cutting it to size. Speaking of plasticard, I'm super gluing some beams made of the stuff across the top to prevent any flex and make it look a bit more bridge-like. These did a surprisingly good job. With the fast drying of the super glue, I was surprised at just how quickly I had a working bridge. Test it with an engine to see how it performs, and it looks like it's ready. We're also not gluing it in place or painting it. This is a temporary measure, so when the real bridge is complete, it'll be easy to slot into place. With that done, we can move on to the fun. The fun part is in even larger inverted commas than last time. At this particular stage was not especially fun. I initially started with a layer of cork on top of the risers. The next step is to lay down the track. This is where I ran into my first problem. The third radius turns, which make up the inner loop, are very slightly too tight for the risers, and a full loop couldn't be safely formed. The answer for this was to use flexi-track, but this delayed me a bit as the model shop wouldn't open until the next day. I went over first thing to find some flexi-track and brought it home with excitement in my eye. This was where I forgot the key tenet of this railway that I had laid out last episode. Do it again, Bob. and this time properly. I did not do it properly. I ended up losing my patience trying to attach two pieces of flexi-track, all while fighting as neither piece of track seemed to want to be a piece of track, instead choosing to pursue its dreams as a monorail. With patience gone and deadline drawing near, I had chosen to put the idea on hold till a less temporary bridge is in place and I've done more research on how to do it again, and this time properly. Powered the tracks using these pre-soldered track joiners from GaugeMaster hidden at the back of the layout. These joiners are already attached to a length of wire that I will attach to the back of this. This absolute unit is my twin track duet controller. It's got controls finer than a human hair and looks older than me, the building I'm in, and possibly the Ming Dynasty. Best controller I've ever used and highly recommended if you can find one. This one came off eBay for something like 70 quid. As you could probably tell from the age of controller, I'm not using DCC for this. And while it is very useful and an interesting development in model railways, it's not one I can afford nor especially want to. DCC locos can run on DC track without too much effort, and the majority of second-hand stock is DC anyway, so I'm staying with my ancient controller and archaic stock. With the track all wired up, we can finally send a train round. And although the hill seems to be tough, we can make it all the way round just fine. We can take some solace in this fact, and the fact that when the new bridge is ready, it will all be done again, and this time properly. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. Like the video if you liked it, comment if you have anything to say, give us a sub if you feel like it, and I'll see you all next time.